Hey there, Chelsea here from Making Manzanita, and in today's video we are going to teach you how to change a ceiling light. We have another YouTube video on how to change a vanity light in a bathroom that is super popular, so we thought we would walk you through this process because it's a little bit different when you're dealing with a ceiling light versus a bathroom light. All right, so this is a rental that we were renovating earlier this year, and we definitely needed to get rid of this ceiling light that looks like, well, you know, a boob. So these boob lights are super outdated and must go. So we found a new modern ceiling light to replace it with, and here is the entire process for you. All right, you want to start by turning the power off. So we did this by going to the breaker and turning the power off to the entire house, but you could also just turn off the power to just the circuit for this specific area. So you want to make sure the light, the power is all off. And if you're unsure, you can also use a voltage detector. Just hold it up against the light to see if there's any power running through the light. All right, so after you've done that, you can move on to removing the light fixture. And for these type of ceiling lights, you'll see that there's a little finial in the middle, and you just simply unscrew it to remove the light fixture. So you'll see that in our case, when we unscrewed that finial, the entire light fixture dropped down from the ceiling. So that may or may not happen to you. You may have a chance to remove just that glass shell and then drop down the rest of the light fixture. So now you'll see your exposed electrical wires, and they're connected with wire nuts, which are kind of like, they look like little ice cream cones. They're little plastic nuts. So you'll see in our case that we had two lights coming out that were exposed at this time. There was a white wire, and that is the neutral wire, and then there was the black wire, which is the live wire. You may, in your case, also see a third wire, which is called a grounding wire. This will be either a bare copper wire with no plastic coating, or in some cases, it may be green. And if you are dealing with older wiring, there's a chance that you may not have a ground wire at all. In our case, our ground wire was tucked up into the bracket, so we couldn't see it at this point. So we went ahead with separating the light fixture from the lights, and the order that you want to do that in is, if you don't see a ground wire, you move directly to the neutral wire, which is white, and then on to the live black wire. If you do see a ground wire, you'll want to start with that one and then go with the white wire and the black wire for removing it. So once the light is separated from the wires, you can reapply the wire nuts back onto the exposed wires. That's just a quick little safety tip. And then you can remove the old bracket. So just take a regular old screwdriver and unscrew the bracket and then pull out the old bracket. So what we found when we unscrewed the bracket from the ceiling is we found our ground wire, which was tucked up inside of it and attached to the bracket just above where we couldn't see it before. So we loosened the ground wire, which was wrapped around the green screw, which is called the grounding screw. And once we unscrewed the grounding wire from the bracket, we were able to remove the old bracket altogether. Now it is time to get that box ready for your new light fixture. So you want to take the new bracket out from your light fixture. And in our case, this was attached to the base of the new ceiling light. So we separated that out and then installed the new bracket. And you just want to follow your light fixture's instructions on how to do this, but it's usually pretty simple. You just kind of put it over the light box and screw it into place with the screws provided. And after you get it all screwed into place, you want to attach the grounding wire first. Again, the ground wire is going to be the one in your ceiling. It's coming out from your ceiling, and it'll be bare without a plastic coating on it, or in some cases, it may be the green wire that's coming out of your house. So grounding is an important safety feature used in home electrical wiring, and basically what it does, in the event where a live electrical wire comes in contact with metal, the power will go back to the electrical panel, usually in the garage, and then down into the ground via what's called a grounding rod. And it's just an important safety measure to prevent any accidents with your electrical. So here's a closer look at the grounding wire wrapped around the grounding screw, which will be green on most light boxes. All right, now it is time to grab the new ceiling light and get it attached. So in our case, we had the actual light fixture, and then we had a small rod where the light fixture came down, because this is semi-flush ceiling light, and then we had the kind of the top of it, which attached to the ceiling, the base of it, I guess you will. So we kind of assembled all three of those parts by hand. You just simply screw them together. And then we were able to bring the new light fixture over to the new bracket that was recently installed to get it all attached. And keep in mind that at this point, the power to the house is all still turned off. You don't want to turn the power back on until you're all finished with installing the new light. All right, so when you go to install your new light fixture, this is the order that you'll want to use. First, attach the grounding wire, which is the bare one, then the white wire, which is the neutral one, and then the black, which is live. Now that is the best order to do this light installation safely. All right, so grab your wire nuts if you don't already have them handy. Again, those are the little plastic cones, and start by putting the two grounding wires together, the tips of them, and then grabbing your wire nut and just moving it clockwise until it's nice and secure. And then you can move on to the white wire next, which is the neutral one. Again, just put both ends of the wire into the cone and twist it clockwise until it's tight. Lastly, move on to the black live wire and attach it with the wire nut. When you're done, you should have all three wires connected and secure with the wire nuts. Now, at this point, you may want to take the time to touch up any paint. If there is a ring around where the old light fixture was, and there probably is, you definitely want to fix this before you install the new light. So we had already painted everything, so we didn't have to worry about that in our case. All right, next you just want to get that light fixture attached into the ceiling. So you just gently push all the wires up into the bracket and then push it up into place. Now for our bracket, there was two screws that were coming down. So we lined those up with the holes in the top of the light bracket, and you may just have to adjust the height of those by screwing them, which is what Logan's doing there. You just want to make sure those screws go all the way through the base of the light. And then ours came with two little caps that go on top of the tip of the screw that kind of hold the light fixture up into place on the ceiling. All right, so at this point, you can go back to your breaker and turn everything back on, and then you'll want to put a light bulb in and just make sure everything's working before you install the final trim. So in our case, this was just the glass shade that needed to be installed at this point. So there was just a little cap on each side of the glass trim that needed to be unscrewed, and then we could take it over to the light fixture and kind of put it into place, and all you had to do was just line it up with the screw that's coming out of the light fixture and twist it into place. And voila, we have a brand new light fixture in this little dining room space, and it looks so much better than that ugly light that we started with. This is something that took us about 10 to 15 minutes, and if you follow along with this simple tutorial, it shouldn't take you much longer than that. This is a very easy project, and you'll get near instant gratification when you get that ugly, budget, outdated light out of the way and a new one installed. As always, we will be linking all of the products and tools that we used in the video's description, so feel free to hop down there if you're interested in any of the products that we used or the specific light fixture. I'll be sure to put a link there for it. If you enjoyed this video, please let us know. Give it a thumbs up and then subscribe to our channel. While you're here, just push our little button, our little picture right here, and then you can check out this video next. We will be back here next week with another DIY or home decor video just for you. All right, see you next week.